morning, everybody. How are we all doing? Morning. Fingers crossed the internet holds up today. I've had a word with Richard Branson, told him to put another couple of quid in the meter. So fingers crossed. Unfortunately, the internet drops I've had in the last couple of days only appear to be sort of like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, but YouTube shuts down the stream if you haven't reconnected within a couple of minutes. So there's nothing much I can do about it. So if the internet disappears, I'll go. But if I've finished all the analysis and stuff, we've kind of done anyway, haven't we? So it's usually just chit chat after I've done all that. So, but hopefully I've restarted the router and everything. So I've done everything this end. But there's a lot of people having problems with Virgin Media in the UK at the moment. There's I did a quick search up on it yesterday. There's lots of people experiencing very short-term dropouts. So they've obviously got some kind of issue on the network somewhere. But hey, not a lot I can do about it. If you jump ship to another company, that company usually has problems as well. So there's not much point. You just have to live with it, don't you? Anyway, sorry, bear with me 1 second. I just need to quickly do something on this terminal. Where are we? Right. So, morning, everybody. Morning, Stevie, David, Diamond. Happy Friday. It's time. Other Steve, John, Virginia, Bellino. Quick video of Nirav and the useless chart to get me started. I haven't had Nirav for ages. Yeah, haven't seen him for a while. And his useless retail charts. Morning, John. Has he paid his bill? I've paid my bill, yeah. A lot of it. £115 a month is what I pay for the internet. So, yeah. Thank Crunchy, it's Friday, yeah. You probably have, but you tried a different router. No, nothing wrong with the... It's Virgin Media. They've got problems. Nothing I can do. Aussie New Zealand, David? Interested in that? Short? I've got out of all the longs on that. So I'm flat on Aussie New Zealand now. Did I not have trades on this yesterday? Oh, yeah, there you go. No, it wasn't in Aussie New Zealand. It's Euro New Zealand, wasn't it? So I was looking at Aussie New Zealand, really confused then. You could probably see it in my face. I was like, I'm sure I got out some Aussie New Zealand this morning. But it wasn't. It was Euro New Zealand. So it closed out Euro New Zealand this morning. We'll have a look through everything quickly, though, before we get going. We'll have a look at Aussie New Zealand in a sec. I'll put it on there now. Quick recap of yesterday. So the H1 mean reversion set file yesterday did 3%, 1.58 banked so far this morning, up to 17% this month in 2% a drawdown. So that's doing well, the H1 hedge. Experienced big drawdown on it, though. Hedging, you always get big drawdown because you're hedging. So nothing you can do about the drawdown. But if you're running it on your own personal accounts, big return. But you're just going to have to sit through 20% of drawdown. H4M5 mean reversion banked 1.17% yesterday, 1.42 banked so far. Green P&L, weird. Sitting in profit. And all right, is it? Yeah, there you go. H1 M5 flat, pretty much 0.00002 drawdown. Banked 1.45% yesterday, banked 1.45% today. And ADR reversals banked 1.2% today, 0.93 drawdown control done yesterday. So got back yesterday's losses. So this tends to happen a lot on the ADR set file, I'm noticing. You have a drawdown day, and then you bank the whole lot back the next day. Drawdown day, bank it all back the next day. Sitting in 1.1% of drawdown. A few things might get closed out today. We've got some US dollar news. So overall, doing well this month. We've got 3.5% banked there, 15% banked there, 10% banked there, and 17% banked there. So all going well. Aussie Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. We'll quickly cover this one before we look at the DAX. We've got 3 minutes to open, 2.5 minutes. So yeah, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar is an ADR reversal today, potentially. Big, strong push. We had that massive... well, the New Zealand dollar has not been massive, but it's been very sustained recently. It unwound. It has unwound quite quickly. So we took out this low from last week, and then we've just basically popped straight back up. So we're filling all the propulsion gaps to the upside now. So there is potential for this to come all the way back up to 225 ADR and beyond, obviously up into here. But obviously it will revert on the way. So you could take an ADR reversal on this now. You're not quite extended on the hourly yet, but if this can push a little bit further up into that propulsion gap today, or maybe a 10 to double top on this week's high, that will give us an RSI extension as well. So that'd be nice for a quick drop down. But yeah, it looks pretty good, Aussie New Zealand, for a short. Long term, it is a downtrend at the moment. We are looking for a continuation move on this to the downside. So yeah, like it short. Looks good. I will wait for the EA to get me in though, if it fancies it. Quick look at the DAX. We've got a gap up on the DAX this morning. It's flagging to the upside. I've got a short on this still on the Fidelcrest account. Banked 2.74% on Fidelcrest yesterday, and I've banked 1.08% this morning. That's 9,000. No, it's not. What's 6.8 plus 2.7? Brain. That's 3.5 grand. 10.5 grand in 2 days. Not bad. That's the mortgage paid for the next year. That's only an evaluation, by the way. It's not real. That one. So yeah, DAX downside potential today. We've got propulsion gaps to the downside as well. So looking at the DAX today from a higher perspective, we're still in this hideous range. Just can't get out of it. We just can't get out of this range. This thing can't make its mind up at all. We've still got the gap filled to the downside. Now we've got a little gap up. It looked like it was going yesterday. I'm in it short from here. So I've been sitting in this now for 2 days. And I've fluctuated up 0.3 to 5%, down 0.3 to 5%, not getting anywhere. So there's your ORB, your pre-market, your triggered short. We'll have a look at the RSIs and ADRs in a minute. So there's your trigger short on the DAX, off if you're trading the 5-minute pre or the 15-minute pre. So it looks good for a gap fill today. Somebody's sent me a strategy for the opening range breakout EA that they've been testing and looking at, which is basically a mean reversion strategy. So instead of getting in on the breakout, taking the mean reversion of the 8 to 9 time period. So from open, got any period separators on here, right? So from the open, which is 10 minute, yeah. Just trying to can't remember which broker I'm on. So from there to 10 o'clock, which is there. Yeah. So taking that range from that high to, it would be, I guess, that low there. Yeah. So you're taking a mean reversion basically. So what I'm going to do, or what I have done, is I've basically swapped the orders round on the opening range breakout EA. So that basically at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock UK time, it places a limit order to sell there and a buy order to buy there, with a stop loss at 50% of the opening range and a target of the opposite side of the opening range. So apparently he's tested this and looks like a good strategy. So I've basically reverse engineered the EA today. and we're going to put it in the back tester and test it. Might work, might not. Just an observation, but obviously the EA will be able to test months and months and months in in an hour, rather than having to go back and do it manually. So we'll test that out. ORB pre-market 15. You're stopped out on the short. You flipped long. Yeah, filled. Yeah, you are in a lovely long position. 1 hour so far, almost 1.5 hour. There you go. So long. Right. Catch up with the chat. Morning, Jeffrey. Morning, Andrew. Morning, Guna. Morning, Danny. Was there New Zealand dollar news? Yep, we'll go for the news in a second. Morning, Neo. Let's go for the news now. Oh, that's nasty this morning if you're on the pre-market. Right, so overnight we had the inflation expectations for New Zealand, 2.79, previous 3.3. So this is the inflation forecast to come down, negative New Zealand dollar. So looking at that Aussie New Zealand, be a little bit careful because obviously you're on the back of negative New Zealand news. So this is only the just open this up and just see exactly what this is before I start saying what it is and it's not. Percentage that business managers expect the price of goods and services to change annually during the next 2 years on a quarter by quarter basis. So it's kind of looking into the future and it's forecast of people in the know within industry. So it's not the actual inflation figure. It's what they see inflation doing from their business's perspective. So it's a forecast, but it is marked as red news because I guess it's probably fairly accurate. So what they're forecasting is for inflation to be coming down. So that takes the pressure off in interest rates needing to be risen for the New Zealand dollar, which weakens the New Zealand dollar. So when you look at the bias scorecard and look at the key fundamentals for the New Zealand dollar, we are currently sitting equal with the US at 5.25. Okay, and they put theirs up by 0.5. So big interest rate change. What they're forecasting is this to be dropping. Therefore, there is no need to increase that if this is coming down at a decent rate, and it is at 0.5. So that's coming down a fairly nice whack at the moment. So it takes the inflationary pressure off of the New Zealand dollar. It takes the interest rate pressure off. Their unemployment figures are stable, which is good. The GDP is not. Yeah, so it's negative New Zealand dollar. So we've seen, obviously, we've had a rally across the board on the New Zealand dollar to the downside. We're going again on the pre-market. That is your 5-minute opening range break as well. So your 5-minute ORB is also long. These are lovely candles when you see these. Oh, sorry, there's your 5-minute opening range break there. Sorry, pre-market, if you're taking a second, you're back in again. Pound New Zealand, 150 ADR. So again, looking at all these New Zealand dollars, yeah. So big drops today. So the market not happy that they think that's coming down, which means weakness in New Zealand. So be careful when you mean reverting this, because we are actually coming off the back of bad news for New Zealand dollar. So you might find that the market wants to drop this for a few days. It might not. Whether it drops it for a few days or not, if it does it with market structure, it doesn't matter, does it? Look. This rallied for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days on the trot. I had 2 short positions in there. Doesn't matter. As long as it's moving with market structure, it doesn't matter if you're getting in the wrong direction. You've got an exit. It's if it's going to do that, that's when you're going to get into trouble. So we obviously don't know what is going to happen, when it's going to happen, if it's going to happen. So if you want to take the mean reversions, obviously they're all there. We'll go through those in a second. The pound GDP came out as negative this morning as well. So off of the interest rates on yesterday lunchtime, being 4.5. We had that drop on the pound. So the market wasn't happy that they only put it up to 4.5, especially with inflation sitting at over 10%. Should have gone up higher, we know. Euro should have done the same as well. So the market's not happy with what the Bank of England did. Bailey didn't come out and say anything positive, so weren't happy about it. And now the GDP has come out as negative. Bailey said yesterday, it doesn't look like we're going to go into a recession. Negative 0.3, Bailey, just for your information, in case you need to do some maths, being in the Bank of Governor, the governor of the Bank of England, means recession, contraction, less than zero. Don't know where they get this information from, but so GDP contracted. Doesn't look like a recession to me, but pound this morning, not really done an awful lot. We had a little bit of a push to the downside on it on some of the pairs, but nothing dramatic. So New Zealand dollar, obviously, you can see is really, really weak. So GDP is a little bit of a double-edged sword because although it is one of the key fundamentals, it has a lot less impact than everything else because GDP is kind of a reactionary indicator rather than a leading indicator. So it is important. They keep a very close eye on the GDP because it is affected by interest rates, inflation, not so much unemployment. But it isn't something they tend to factor in as much when looking at interest rate change. So you don't tend to get quite as big a move off of it. What it is it's telling you how the economy of that country is doing. So if they're dropping interest rates and their GDP is rising, that's deemed bullish. So it's somewhere you want to put your money if you're going to invest into business. Yeah. So this is the business kind of end of the fundamentals. So nothing much happened off the back of that. We've got University of Michigan this afternoon at 3:00. It's very hit and miss. This sometimes it goes nuts, sometimes it doesn't. It's really, really hit and miss. So that's at 3:00. So that's 30 minutes after the New York Open. So we need to be aware of that. We might get a fairly stagnant New York Open. They may wait for it. They may not. We don't know. So it's always a tricky one when the UOM comes out because sometimes it goes mental and sometimes it doesn't. So we're getting lots of rejection up at the DAX on that propulsion. So that's coming down at the minute. Right. So overnight news. There you go. New Zealand dollar. Super weak. Strongest currency out there at the moment is the Swiss franc. So there's money piling into the euro by the looks of things. Year on year, PICP for France, 6.9. Not really interested in that. There's the GDP figures for the pound. As you can see, the pound, we had a bit of a drop on it initially, but it's all recovered. Financial juice, a bit more. Other than that, overnight, doesn't look like there was anything exciting. No. Oh yeah, this came out at 4:00 yesterday. Bailey signals the Bank of England may pause rate hikes if UK inflation slows. So I don't quite understand where how this information. Basically, it's contradictory, is what I'm trying to say. This is in an interview with Bloomberg. If the inflation slows, which I don't quite understand what the terminology means there, inflation slowing. If that said, if inflation drops, I would understand it. If inflation slows means nothing. At the moment, we're sitting at 10.1% inflation. If the rate that decreases slows, that's bad news. You have to put interest rates up. I think what that means is if inflation drops, is what that should say, not slows, then he may pause rate hikes. But at the moment, there was no indication given by Bailey in the speech yesterday or in the monetary policy statement that came out with the rate yesterday that they are stopping interest rate hikes. So this is still bullish pound long term. So I'm not quite sure what that meant. I looked at that yesterday afternoon and I read it as if UK inflation drops. And then I reread it and was like, hang on a minute, what do you mean by slow? It is slow. If you look at the rate, we're at we're negative 0.3. We're sitting at 10.1. We were expecting this to come down to something like 9.8. We didn't get it. We got 10.10 because it didn't come down as much. That is slowed, which means you need to increase that faster. You didn't. You went by 0.25 instead of 0.5. It's all wrong, basically. So, yeah, don't understand really what that comment means, but I had to reread that again yesterday. But yeah, that's it basically on overnight news as well. So that's all your news covered. I'm just keeping an eye on the DAX. DAX is coming down again by the looks of things. Big styly. So there's your ORB today. 5-minute opening range break is south. Pre-market, you probably have struggled to make profit this morning. If you've taken a third entry short, you'd be negative, whatever, negative 2 trades. So this will be your one, hopefully. So that's the gap fill being played now. Right, let's look at ADRs. Morning, Dreska. Morning, Kennelly. Morning, Freeman. Morning, Michael. Morning, Brian. Good morning, Potgator. I don't like the look of that symbol that you've posted in there. That means that the internet's going slow. Just reading something that somebody's put in the Telegram group. Just kind of reiterating what I say in here all the time about prop firm evaluations. What a difference a week makes. Passed phase 1 on the 3rd last week. Started phase 2 on the 4th using exactly the same pairs and the ADR reversal. And basically they're showing a loss. So again, it's all down to the market. You have nothing you can do about it. So some days you'll have amazing days, some days you'll have crap days. If you start your evaluation when you're going into a run of crap days, you're going to fail. If you start your evaluation when you're going into a run of good days, you're going to pass. There's only one person that's got control over whether you pass or fail, and that is the banks and institutions. They're the ones that drive it up and down. You've got no control over when you enter or whether you're going to have a profit or not, have you? So that's good proving the point I keep saying over and over again. I got 2 evaluations with Fidelcrest. If you were in here when that 2-for-1 offer was on, I started 2 £250,000 evaluations with Fidelcrest. One of them I blew. I don't know how long I lasted in that one. Probably 5 days. This one, I'm on day 7, and I'm 5.8% up, trading exactly the same strategy. One of them is 5.8% profit. The other one's minus 10%. Not doing anything different. The only difference is I started one of those evaluations 4 days after the other one. There you go. Right, let's have a look at ADRs. There's quite a few of these this morning. We've got a weekly hit as well. No monthlies yet. So evening, Tom is coolish. You need to change your name, Tom. Tom is cool. You're only coolish. It's not quite cool enough, is it? What you need is some bling. Stick some bling on. That'll make it cool. Past phase 1 on a 5 account. Well done, Dreska. Good man. That's why you risk less. Yep. If you risk less, you're gonna. Basically, the account I failed, I was risking 0.5% per entry. So that's actually a lie, what I said a minute ago. There is something different I'm doing on these 2 accounts. The first one, I was using 0.5% risk per entry based on half an ADR. The second account, I'm using 0.25% risk based on half an ADR. That's the difference. So I have survived. Maximum drawdown on this account has gone to 3.8-ish, 3 point something. Hasn't got to 4% drawdown. The other one did the 5% drawdown target. So there you go. Made the account when I was like 11. Tommy's coolish. Yeah, I know. My kids are going to regret theirs as well at some point in their life. It's like one of them's called it's his name, Daman, after it. So if you think if your name's Michael, it'd be Michael DeMann. It's like you're going into a job interview. Yes. What's your interview? Yeah, Michael DeMann. DeMann's not your surname. No, it's Michael DeMann. All right. Okay. Next. Got to be very careful with what you do with your email addresses and things. Right. ADR reversals. So the weekly we've got is New Zealand dollar, US dollar. We'll look at that one first. It is Friday. You've missed it, basically. So New Zealand dollar, US dollar weekly range was the hit was yesterday. Look. So there's Monday. Is that no, that's a hit to the downside today, isn't it? What am I talking about? So that's a hit from there down to there, 135 pips. So yeah, so that's a weekly hit to the downside today. If we get an ADR on that down in these propulsion gaps, that would be a nice mean reversion today. So we'll see if we get any further push down on that one. Looks like it's starting to stall out of this propulsion gap at the moment, though, and it's not an ADR. So there's no real reason to get into that. Oh, yes, there is. H1. I shall be getting into that very shortly. In fact, should be in it, shouldn't I? Oh, no, haven't had a reversal alert yet. So literally just about to take an entry long New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Excuse me. That'll be H1 M5 mean reversion. Back up into there. New Zealand dollar Swiss ADR reversal. So that's an ADR hit to the downside. Again, all these New Zealand's coming down fairly hard. Your reversal alert's fairly nice and tight at the moment off of ADR. So probably push up into this big accumulation we had at the end of yesterday into Asia. Then the news came out, dropped it, pushed back up into there. If it's an ADR reversal, you should really only be looking for about a third of an ADR to half an ADR max. Half an ADR on this is 30 pips. That's 40. So there's plenty of room to get out. Pound New Zealand has extended much further. So we've got a big push. I'm sure I changed the code on this. Have I got the wrong version of this indicator? Or is that just I haven't looked at it? Getting weird artifacts. Just resave the template so I get rid of all that crap. So yeah, Pound New Zealand, you're just about to get the 5-minute reversal alert there. That's tapped 150. So again, this accumulation from yesterday into the New Zealand news potentially is your support. That's ADR to the downside. So there's absolutely loads of room to the downside on that one. That's a good potential mean reversion opportunity, Pound New Zealand. You're just about to get the extension as well. So this looks like I'm going to get in on H1M5 as well. Propulsion gap filled. Those two up there are your next targets to the upside. So scaling in, potentially that's 3 entries before we come back down and retest if we don't come straight down and do it. Euro New Zealand. ADR hit to the upside. So exited all the Euro New Zealand this morning. Out of all of that, I got that little manual one that I took off yesterday as well, but that's all out and flat now. Sell order is already in. First sell is in on this one. So this is an H1 extension. M5 reversal alert you had here. So we had a reversal alert there on that candle. Sorry. Yeah. So there was a reversal alert. You're just about to get the second reversal alert there because we made a new high. So weird M pattern. It's more of an accumulation, but yeah, there's your entry. Just about to get it now. Got 3 minutes left on this candle. Obviously, if that closes bearish, then it's going. If not, it's not. But I'm in that already. Euro New Zealand, so that's a nice extension to the upside. Aussie dollar New Zealand we've looked at already. There's a mean reversion opportunity there as well. That's 100 ADR. There's no real levels around on this one at the moment. So we've got this propulsion gap to the upside. And then there's potential high of the week. That's Monday's high. So that'll be the high of the week going in at 150 ADR. So if you get the reversal there and it plays out beautifully, fantastic. If not, you're looking to get in second position, maybe there. If you're going half an ADR, if you're 3/4 of an ADR or more like me, that's the propulsion gap you'll enter your second on and then come back down. But we're not quite extended on the hourly yet. So this will be an ADR reversal, but it won't be an H1M5 just yet for me. And this it's up to you, obviously. Some people are still using 70. Nothing wrong with that at all. You got in on that. I missed it. So yeah, I mean, everybody's going to have, so you can't see that, can you? It's behind my big head. So that one there, you got in on that one and took that profit, whereas I didn't because I'm trading 75 instead of 70. So, you know, there's no rights or wrongs, whatever you want, but I'm using 75 just because I want to be uber cautious with the set file that I'm running, because the set file that I'm running on the BPS is obviously trading everything. So I want it to get in safer. So there's all your RSIs, ADRs. So there's a few opportunities there, all New Zealand dollar based, as you can imagine, because it's all about the New Zealand dollar news this morning. So that has got high probability to mean revert. Made the account, was yes. Good morning, Andres. Brian, got to say, Fidel's random news generator definitely messed with my psyche this week. Should be in way more profit. Yeah. Have they got a feed? They haven't got a feed, have they? You've just got to basically check it every morning, haven't you? So you need to get into the routine of checking Forex Factory, checking Financial Juice, checking Fidelcrest, check what their news thing is. I mean, today, obviously, I'm assuming today they'll have GDP and University of Michigan flagged. And I would assume that they would have had that flagged as well. So there should be 3 news events today. You can't trade at 4 a.m., 7 a.m. or 3 p.m., which is fine. You know, because I don't really have a problem with the Fidelcrest having the news thing in there, because you're trading manually, so it doesn't matter, does it? But the problem is what they call it. They confuse the hell out of everybody, and they use stuff that isn't red news. You know, this like you know, we don't make these up. This is the industry standard. Every calendar in the world that is to do with finance looks at these elements and goes, these are important. Fidelcrest seem to think that the number of military orders that don't include planes is important. There isn't another analyst on the planet that even looks at that news. It doesn't even appear in financial calendars. So, you know, that's what I have the problem with, is the fact that they, first of all, don't use the same terminology as the rest of the world, which makes me think it's completely unprofessional. Secondly, they use news events which aren't news events. It is there to catch you out, which is bad, because I thought Fidelcrest were quite a reputable firm. But if they're going to play stupid games like that, it makes you think, well, you know, just like the rest, aren't you? You're just after evaluation money, which is fine. I don't care. I take everybody's evaluation money. Morning Shroud, morning Baggy. Figinia, on the reversal alert, is it triggered when it sees a spinning top hanging man candle? Nope. Nothing to do with candlestick patterns at all. Military is its own economy. Yeah. What's your average lot size on your 100k account? I have no idea. 5.34 divided by 6. Not quite sure why you would want to know that. It's got nothing to do with anything. 0.89. But I don't see what the relevance is. Right, RSIs. No 4 hours today. We're flat. So everything that we had extended on the 4 hour is done and dusted, all played out. So there's nothing to look at there at the moment. The US dollar CAD is getting close-ish. Pound US dollar is close. Pound yen is close. So there's a few that might trigger in the next few hours today. So just keep your eyes peeled on those. But obviously that's what the alert dashboard's for, to alert you when we get extensions. Yeah, so our hourlies, we've got a few of those to look at. So I'll whiz through all of these. Some of these you're going to find are going to be ADRs anyway that we've already covered. So we'll start off with the Aussie dollar Swiss. So Aussie dollar Swiss 1 hour RSI extension to the downside. That's only a 70, not a 30, not a 25. This move here, this like 3-day rally, it was very, very fast, and there was very little pause. So there isn't really any good support resistance levels you would look at. So this whole area here, from when we like pushed up on this day, fairly nice market structure on that day, pushing up, we slammed through it and literally did not put in a red candle until we got up into that flag. So this whole area here where these propulsion gaps sit, there is no previous high that you can pick and just go, that's probably where support is going to be. So this looks like this has got potential to just come straight down and fill all these gaps today. So just be careful trying to mean revert this today. I would probably look for an ADR on it today, rather than just taking it here, or wait until it gets a little bit more extended. It could well just pop from here, but we've got this big propulsion gap here and this here. So these two propulsion gaps here are the breakout of that accumulation. So that is the one I would say is the more likely to become a reaction point. So there's a little bit more downside on that, but it is extended. And as you can see, it's not really gone anywhere for the last sort of 3 weeks. We're stuck between this sort of range high-low at the moment. We're bang in the middle of it. So, you know, could go either way from here, couldn't it? If it wants to put in a peak formation low and rally to the upside, this could be well where it's going to do it from. If it wants to stay in the range, it's obviously going to pop down and retest that monthly low. So tricky one at the moment. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. We've looked at this one. This is an RSI extension on the hourly. This is an ADR hit to the upside. This is a down trend on the 4 hour, coming up into propulsion. We have got a lot of upside target on this though. This negative news on the New Zealand dollar, not quite sure how much the market is going to factor that in for future movement, but we could get, you know, a good multi-day parabolic move out of it. So it could just scream up to those highs. So if it does, you deal with it. But it is extended on the hourly, so it is a good looking opportunity for a short. I'd rather wait for them to fill that propulsion gap though. 125. If we could get a 175 or something out of it today, then yeah, fine, I'll be all over it. But I doubt we'll get that today. It is Friday. CAD Swiss is the other extension to the downside. So this is coming back down to fill these propulsion gaps. Again, be careful. This is such a big parabolic move we had here. This was last Thursday. This was the euro rates. No, it wasn't. This was last Friday. That was last Friday. This is Canadian dollar. So this was US news last Friday, wasn't it? What did we have last Friday? I've forgotten. Oh yeah, CAD unemployment and the US unemployment is non-farm payroll. So yeah, all bullish. Obviously everything US dollar and CAD went nuts last Friday. Last Thursday was the euro rates, basically, which obviously dropped. So the Swiss dropped as well, which means the CAD Swiss had that rally. So we got this huge V-shaped recovery, and we're coming back down now. So there is potential for this to push all the way back down into this propulsion gap at 125 ADR. So we are just getting extended. I would much rather wait until we get really extended on this though. It's moving very, very quick at the moment, as you can see. It is pulling back at the moment. We've had a little bit of a push up there. Just seeing what the DAX is doing. The DAX is a little bit sideways at the minute today. So your 5-minute ORB is pulled back up into the range, so stopped really going anywhere today. So yeah, CAD Swiss getting ready to get in, not quite extended enough yet. Euro New Zealand is, however, I've got one short on that already. Sorry, my spin instructor's just sent me a photo into our spinning group. Weird. So Drop on that. Looks very good. Euro New Zealand. However, Euro, I think we've got a good, strong possibility of a real big push on this. This was a massive overreaction to the Euro rate last week. So although this is very nicely extended and is a good short, as long as we're going to do that and not have this parabolic move, I think we'll be fine. There's no reason why we should get this. This was caused by the news for the euro collapsing the euro. So the interest rate wasn't high enough and they basically tanked it. So on the way back up, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't just do normal market structure as we usually do. So getting into this one at this extension shouldn't be an issue. However, I think long term, we should be looking for longs on this. So it's fine to get in. It's massively extended today. We're 125 ADR on it. We're above the 75 on the RSI. If it continues to push higher, that's fine. We don't often get that, do we? So, you know, there's one there. That was a 3-day move against the trend. There's another entry there against the trend. Another entry there against the trend. Another entry there against the trend. So all 4 of those trades were shorts while this thing was screaming up. As long as the market structure is there. Spinathon looks exciting. Another spinathon. I did a spinathon. For those of you who don't know what spinning is, it's indoor cycling on a bike. Exercise. I did a spinathon a while ago, last year, which was 7 spin classes back to back. So 7 45-minute spin classes back to back. So basically spinning all day. There's another one coming up. So couldn't walk the next day, but it was good fun. So this year was Euro New Zealand. When we get these extensions, you're always going to get the pullback. So even if these extensions are the start of a bull move, yeah, and we're going to go like that. Sorry, shut that up a minute. It's distracting me. You're going to get the opportunities to get out on the pullbacks. So as long as we get the market structure on the way, doesn't matter. Just short it. But I think it is bullish. So if you want to stay in line with trend, then this is probably not going to be the mean reversion for you, because I foresee this now coming back into that kind of movement. Hopefully not that. That would be a little bit more squeezy. You will have had exits on that, but yeah, so good looking short at the moment on the RSI extension, and obviously Euro New Zealand, when we were looking at the ADRs, that is also an ADR extension as well. Shut up, phone. Pound New Zealand. Extended to the upside. Again, this is all rallying off the back of the New Zealand dollar weakness. So there's your hourly RSI extension. Just got up there. Have we had a reversal alert on this? We have had a reversal alert on this. There. Wasn't quite extended when the alert came in. So we are now extended. So I'm not going to get on this. Right. The whole group's basically, no, date's not good for me. Date's not good for me. I.e., I can't be asked to do another 7 hours of spinning. I'm going to do it. So yeah, good targets to the downside on this. So 150 ADR and extended on the hourly. So we'll be on this on the ADR reversals. So ADR reversal set file, if you're running that one, will have just taken a pound New Zealand short this morning. When it loads. Oh, it hasn't not yet. Why have we not taken that yet? Why have I not taken a short on that? Interesting. This is where you find out you've got your EA set wrong somewhere. Missed that for some reason. Why is that not taking that then? That's the mystery. It should be in a pound New Zealand short. Don't know why that hasn't taken that. Have a look at that later. Not quite sure why I didn't get in that. But yeah, so that is a 5-minute reversal alert at 150 ADR. So that should be a nice entry, short. So there you go. Spinning, going nowhere really fast. Yeah. I do go very, 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 very fast for a long time. My ADR didn't trigger also. I don't know why that's not triggered. Brain's not working. Don't know. I'll have to have a look at that later. Why don't you trade gold? Because I lose money on gold. Morning, Fabio. So there's pound New Zealand. Where are we? RSIs. New Zealand dollar CAD. That is extended on the hourly to the downside. So we've got this. That's kind of filled that propulsion gap there. So you can ignore that one. This is the double top support that is coming up. So that is previous resistance. So back down to 125 ADR would be a very nice one on that. It is only just extended. So there is potential for this just to pull up from there, which it could well do. There is potential for this to now form a new range. This is the low of the week. So we could just come back down to here and then flop about in there for a bit. But it is extended. You've got two nice propulsion gap targets to the upside there to aim for. There's another one at the highs there. We've also got these lows. So you're bang in the middle of potentially coming up into there or coming back down into there. So it's a 50-50 shot. RSI extension though. So it's more likely to give a little bit of a pullback first, unless it wants to really squeeze. In which case then you take a second there and get out when it comes back up. New Zealand dollar Swiss. That's coming down very, very hard out of that one this morning. So there's the short off of the H1 extension. Out, done. Lots of propulsion gaps to the upside on that. Lots of propulsion gaps to the downside. So again, another one that's kind of bang in the middle of could go either way. Unlikely this is going to continue to drop all the way down to 225 ADR unless the market really doesn't like that New Zealand dollar news, but we'll see. Yeah, I'll be getting into that on the next 5 minutes. Oh, no, I'm already in it. Sorry. So I'm in long on the 5-minute reversal alert that we've just had, which was there. So we had a reversal alert there, which has been invalidated by the new low. Now we're at ADR. So there's your entry on New Zealand dollar Swiss. New Zealand dollar yen extended to the downside. Again, New Zealand dollar dropping. All these New Zealands are dropping. Big propulsion gap targets to the downside. The yen at the moment, we've had a little bit of strength coming through on this yen. Nothing really sustained. They haven't said anything about interest rates or anything else. So not really interested at the moment. But if they do get interested and do start to intervene, obviously you need to be aware that they're going to press the long side on the yen and it's going to come down. So a lot of people don't trade the yen because it's a bit too schizophrenic and a bit too interfered with. But it is extended. It just about got that extension and in long on New Zealand dollar yen. New Zealand dollar US dollar. Again, it's in that as well, extended. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, that's a nice propulsion gap fill. We've got these two propulsion gaps to look at here. That would be ADR. That would be absolutely beautiful. So 2 solid days. So we had that really strong day yesterday off the FDIC information. We've had the really weak day today. So we had a strong day yesterday for US. We've had a weak day today for New Zealand. That equals 2-day squeeze. That's got us really nicely extended. So chances are we're going to push back up into that profit take area there. And US dollar CAD is the last one, which is a short, in short one on that H1 RSI extension. Entry was yesterday after that push. Potential for this to come back up into this area here, which is a previous resistance. That's also ADR today. We've gone absolutely nowhere on US dollar CAD so far today, but looking for a quick push back down potentially and retest that area before they push up into there. Or today we'll push up into there and then we'll look for it to come back down there at a later point next week. There you go. RSI extension. So all good. Can't say your name. I never can say that name. How do you pronounce your name? Well, you can't obviously pronounce it, can you? Because you're typing. But Nguyen. Is that Nguyen? Nguyen? I can't pronounce it. I'm a new member. I don't understand about how you trade. Can you see everything going along the bottom of the chart? Yeah, bottom of the screen. Everything you need to know is there. And there's lots of links being put into the chat constantly with links to the bootcamp, the EAs that I use, all the indicators I use, the strategy. Everything is down there. How about my old friend Euro US dollar? Right, so just so you all know, analysis is all done now. So if the internet drops and it kicks me out, we're finished. We're not finished, but if the internet goes, I've done everything. So we've covered all the RSIs, we've covered the news, we've covered all the ADRs, we've looked at how much money we're making, which is lovely. Yeah, there you go. And the DAX is doing absolutely nothing. Hasn't quite done the gap fill yet either, so I'd say we got a little bit more short on that. Euro US dollar. At the moment, we're not really going anywhere. There's this huge propulsion gap formed yesterday, but we did break out of this low yesterday. So we've managed to get that break, and we did retest it. So you can't quite see, but that high of the support rectangle there, the wick pushed up through there and back down again. So that is a retest, obviously, of that previous support. So I think we might find they stack some sells in there. However, obviously, we're expecting this weakness on the euro to also abate a little bit as well. So euro US dollar is very tricky at the moment. Obviously, there's no strength, relative strength in either direction on it. So there's no real reason to get into any trades on this at the moment. Bullish euro, bullish potentially US dollar. Downside targets, upside targets, bang in the middle. Just no reason to get into this. It's in no man's land at the moment. You're right. We just had some bullish euro news coming from Nagel. This is not the last interest rate hike. The latest interest rate hike won't be the last. Bullish euro. Yeah. So basically just confirming the fact that why the hell did you lot drop the euro so hard last Thursday when we increased the interest rates? Did you not hear us say that this is going to go up again? So he's just reiterating the fact that you guys have dropped the euro. We've just told you we're putting the interest rates up again. Bullish. So we should be bullish euro. This is a very uncharacteristic move down for the euro. It shouldn't have dropped this hard, this fast, off the back of that interest rate rise. The market was... It's the market's fault. They factored in 4. They got 3.75. They were told they were getting 3.75. So they factored in 4. They're stupid. So they had to get out of their positions. It will reverse. Well, it has reversed. It's starting to reverse now, isn't it? How much percent per trade of total equity are you risking on a prop account? 0.25%. Pronounced win, is it? How'd you get win out of that? Nguyen. Win. See, in English, there is absolutely no way you can get win out of that. Nguyen hasn't got a W in it, hasn't got an I in it. It has got an N on the end, I'll give you that, but it's got an N at the front as well. My little brain can't comprehend foreign languages. It's no use at all. This is why I pronounce everybody's name wrong. I'm not much good at English. Good at maths. Good at programming, good at logic, good at numbers. English, meh. That's what Google's for. How much percent do I trade? Yeah, so 0.25%. So on prop, I'm risking 0.25% on half an ADR's movement, scaling in somewhere around about half to 1 ADR. Same as the EA does, basically, but I'm just doing it manually, and I'm doing manual drawdown control as well. So just having to go back to the good old days when we had to trade manually. Just say Bob. Yeah. So anybody that I can't pronounce their name, I'm just going to call them Bob. That's going to be good, isn't it? When people subscribe. So thanks for subscribing, Bob, because 90% of the people, I can't pronounce their names, like this person yesterday. To me, that's just letters. You can't see it, can you? Put it in the wrong place. There you go. To me, that's just letters. NHLAKANIPHO. And I get the end bit is faux. Should be faux. But what the hell? How do you pronounce NHL together? Null. Nahalakanip. Nakahala. Nahalakanifo. Nahakalan. I can't say it. Sorry. Your name's Powell. You'll forever be known as Powell because I can't say your name. So try and get your names understandable. Sorry. I'm not allowed to make fun of people's names. Diamond. Darmond. Baggy. Another decent week on my live account. 8%. Good job. That's a big profit. Nice one. DAX is just starting second leg out of that propulsion gap. So we had a propulsion gap put in on the initial 5-minute ORB. Retested. Looking like it's going to come down for the gap fill potentially, but not a lot of movement today. Very quiet. Quiet on the Western Front today. So that's everything covered that I've got today. Everything's played out that we were in, or that the EAs and the strategies have been in over the last week. So yeah, pretty much flat across the board. Most of the strategies are flat-ish at the moment. 1.1 on ADR. 0.06 on H1. H4 is in profit. There's a danger today of this banking that and going flat for the weekend. Can you imagine going flat for the weekend? So you can't see that either, can you? I need to change this. There we go. That's better. You can see it then, can't you? So yeah. Yeah, there's a danger of this going flat and actually having no risk on over the weekend. Very rare event, that is. Yeah, and H1, same thing. Uh, 2.8%. So this isn't going to go flat over the weekend, but 0.8 and 0.7 are the highest DDs on that at the moment, which is a Euro Swiss and Euro US dollar. So obviously all these euros that have been slammed on the interest rate rises, we should get out of all that as soon as they start to rally, basically. Got a hedge on Euro Swiss. So Euro Swiss is 2 longs, 1 short. So it doesn't matter which way the Euro Swiss goes. We're making money. Good. Right. Anybody got anything else they want to have a look at? Otherwise, I'm going to leave you and come back for this afternoon. There's no real news this afternoon. I'm just adjusting some positions quickly. Yeah, so there's no real news this afternoon. We've got University of Michigan at 3. We might get a fairly quiet move in New York. So we have to be a little bit careful of New York this afternoon because they do quite often go just whipsaw until news. Whether or not they're going to pay any attention to the Michigan this afternoon, I don't know. So it's one... This is on my list of things to do, my massive list of things to do, is to go back test all this news. So when we have 3 o'clock news, which we quite often do in the US, one of the things I want to do is go back over the last year and look at every UOM and see what the price action before UOM was, and to see if it's one of the events they tend to hold for, and kind of draw up a list of what is and isn't good to do. But it's quite a time-consuming task to do that. But it'd be really good to know, so you've got all the dates. Yeah, you know what time it comes out. It comes out at 3 o'clock every time. So you can go back over all these dates for the last kind of year. It's only every month. So it's, you only got to do it 12 times to do a year, haven't you? And see at that time, did we get a big New York open? If we didn't, we know for UOM, we shouldn't be trading opening range breakouts until 3 o'clock. So it's on my list to do, but I haven't managed to get around to it yet. What about US dollar Swiss? That's in the middle of nowhere at the moment, sitting in no man's land. Tapped into that propulsion. So this is where they started that rally. They just added in that, but you're stuck between a rock and a hard place here at the moment. Yeah, where you are here at the minute, this could go either way. All depends. Euro pump, that drops. US dollar pump, that pops. Very difficult to tell with this one. It's just in the middle of nowhere. Look, we're range bound. We're just in the middle of a big old 2-week range at the minute. We haven't gone anywhere. We're not going anywhere at all. Nothing. I'm all in on fighter jets. Yeah. But you're not going to find out until the 25th of May, Brian, whether or not the orders, the military orders excluding fighter jets, is going to make the US dollar bullish or bearish. Who knows? Depends where you bought your fighter jets from, I suppose, doesn't it? No, it doesn't actually, because it's excluding aircraft, isn't it? So for those that don't know what we're talking about, if you're not trading with Fidelcrest, go and look at their news feed, Fidelcrest's economic calendar, and have a look at the 25th of May, because apparently there's a big red news event you can't trade through, which is the in the military orders excluding aircraft, which is important, very important. Didn't even know there was such a thing. So I will leave it there. I'm going to go off and backtest the opening range breakout reverse this morning and see if I can find any edge in mean reverting the first hour of the market. So this should be an interesting experiment. There we go. We've gone short up there. Well, what do you know? That worked. That didn't. See, that's where the OLB would have made money. That didn't. That did. That did twice. I'm not sure about mean reverting the opening range. It worked well in this. This is the thing with this. You know, the guy that contacted me about this strategy. I get it. Blimey, that was a biggie. I get the theory behind it, but all this is the inverse to what this EA is designed to do. So this is an opening range breakout strategy. So we take an opening range, and when we get the breakout, we trade the breakout trend. If we don't get a breakout trend, it doesn't make money. So this strategy, when we don't get a breakout trend, would make money. So if you run both of these, in theory, what you're doing is you're just getting one that is going to make a loss and one that is going to make a profit. So it might be something that is worth having as a separate strategy to run alongside the opening range breakout EA, so that when we have those range bound days with the OLB and it doesn't produce a profit, this one might do. So far, it's banked $2,800, which you can't see because my big head's in the way. I still where I can put my camera that actually isn't intrusive. But yeah, so it's banked $2.5 grand. 7. 2.8. 3.1. 3.2. I've no idea how I've got this set up. I've just set it up. I haven't even looked at it. New Zealand dollar CAD just hit ADR. So there's another New Zealand dollar ADR hit. So yeah, interesting. That's a big one as well. 3,750. Anyway, I will backtest this Flip of a coin on the DAX, same odds probably. Yeah, I mean, that was my thoughts. That was my first initial reaction to the guy that sent me the idea. All you're doing is you're playing the inverse of what the ORB does. So the odds are the same. It's either going to break out or it's going to mean revert. So if it doesn't break out, we lose. If it does break out, you lose. It's the same thing, isn't it? So you either play the breakout or you play the mean reversion. If you play both, they're probably going to cancel each other out. Therefore, what's the point? The edge is that when we do break out, we make a lot of money. The edge here is when it doesn't break out, it mean reverts. Mean reversion usually only gets you 1.5 to 2R. Breakouts can get you 5-10. That's the advantage. That's the edge of the breakout strategy, is the winners that run make you a fortune. And the losers lose a set amount of money. That's the whole point of it. See, it's just lost all its profit. Look, it's back down to $1,200 now, back down to $1,000. I don't think there's an edge. Mind you, I don't know if this is set up as it should be. I've got to analyze it and do some work on it. But it's an interesting concept. But I think what the person will find is that the observation that he's done over a short period of time hasn't got a long-term edge. There's a lot of those, and this is why I always say you need to backtest over a long period of time. If you backtest something over 3 months and go, this is amazing. If you backtest it over the previous 3 months, it's probably crap. You've got to backtest over a long period of time. You need a long-term edge. Something that's worked over the last 3 months doesn't mean it's going to work over the next 3. I will test it though. We'll see. The DAX is, speaking of the DAX, we're going nowhere today. This is a prime example. So 9 o'clock right now. So this is the strategy that he's talking about. That is the 8 to 9 a.m. ORB. Well, that's the 8 to 9 a.m. opening range, OR, right? So what we do now is we place a long there and a short there. So the theory being is that we do that. But right now, if this thing breaks to the downside, all that's going to happen is you're going to take a loss. So on rotation days, fine. On any day where you get a breakout, stuffed, which is the opposite to the ORB. Breakout days we win, range bound days we lose. It cancels itself out, doesn't it? So, anywho, pound New Zealand dollar is pushing up. Yeah, still going. I'm out of my pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand RSI extension on the hourly. So we'll be getting into a short on this. Should be in a short on this, but I'm not quite sure why that didn't trigger. I need to look at that as well, figure out why that didn't trigger. No, that's a weird one. What about a strategy with TDI? This is TDI. The RSI is TDI. This is why this is called the RSI TDI dashboard. Well, it's not on that one, but RSI and TDI alert dashboard. It's the same thing. You stick a TDI on your chart. Oh, not on that chart. Yeah, look at the TDI. Let's draw lines on this one properly. What are we using? 75. 25. Look at the RSI. Look at the TDI. Same thing. So yeah, RSI is TDI. That's why I use it. Part of the Traders Dynamic Index. Get rid of all this crap, all this other stuff in the TDI. If you strip the TDI back to its bare basics, it's relative strength indicator. It's just an overcomplicated relative strength indicator. No need for it. There was a strategy on YouTube with TDI, and you said you're making EA out of it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that thing. Yeah. Yeah, but if you go and watch that video, it's a completely discretionary strategy. It's all clickbait. It's all clickbait. Go and watch that video. Yeah. It said this guy uses the TDI and he's got a 95% strike rate or something ridiculous. No, he hasn't. He uses the TDI, but it's got nothing to do with the TDI. He enters, he's got trend lines drawn all over his charts. He's waiting for levels to be hit. He's a completely discretionary trader that happens to have a TDI in his chart. Load of rubbish. All load of rubbish. EA reversal indicator. EA reversal, need to buy indicator. No, you don't know the EA. The EA is self-contained. Go and watch the videos on the website about the EA. It's completely self-contained. You don't need anything else. Yeah, so that TDI was a load of rubbish. That reminds me, was working on the first 4-hour candle for FX. I'll finish the details and send it over to you. First 4-hour candle for FX. All right, okay, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, go and watch that video. The guy basically, the video made it sound like the guy had found the Holy Grail with the TDI, and which is what immediately set my alarm bells ringing, because I spent years studying TDI. And at the end of the day, the reason I have this on my chart is because I came to the conclusion that TDI is a load of rubbish. And if you strip everything out of the TDI and just pull it back to its basics, which is the relative strength indicator, which has been around for 100 years and has worked for 100 years, that's all you need. All the other stuff, it's the same as everything in this industry, right? Dean Malone, the guy that invented the TDI, the Traders Dynamic Index, made a load of money out of selling the Traders Dynamic Index. Yeah, it's an RSI. He thought, if I put a moving average and Bollinger Bands on there, and then say, if you take that cross over that cross when this is over there and that does that, I could build a strategy and sell loads of courses and indicators and make a load of money. At the end of the day, the whole premise of the TDI revolves around an RSI extension. That's what it is. And this is what this measures. This measures literally the same thing as this, which is measures the same thing as the TDI. So everything you find in this industry is recycled, most of it. And you just need to unpick it all if you can, which is what I do. Every time I see anything, a strategy or an indicator, I am looking for what it is under the hood. You know, so I'm never everything I build and release myself is not new. Yeah, ADR has been around forever. It's the ATR. You know, I'm totally upfront and honest with everything that I do. The ADR indicator is the ATR indicator. Yeah, it's the average true range of the daily chart starting from yesterday, going back 10 days. I have just built an indicator that draws those line extensions on the chart, and I did research to find out what the probabilities of extensions beyond the ATR of the daily time frame is. I've never said this ADR indicator is the secret sauce and no one else has got it, because it isn't. Propulsion gaps have existed forever in the form of impulse candles, wide range bars, propulsion candles, fair value gaps. There's 1,000 people call it 1,000 things. At the end of the day, it's a candle that's bigger than the rest of them. Nothing hidden. I explain everything. A lot of people build indicators and strategies and they don't tell you what's actually happening under the hood. They hide it because then they won't make any money. I make money trading. I make a nice little sideline out of the indicators, don't get me wrong. But I certainly couldn't pay the mortgage on them. I'd be in big trouble. I'd have to do a lot of advertising. I'd have to become Nirav or Greg Secker, and you'd see me all over YouTube every day. Every time you watch a video, be like, hi, I'm the market structure trader. I've been in the banking industry for 25 years, and I know how the banks work. Sorry, did I just lie to you? So I'm not going to get into advertising. We won't go down that road. We've been there. Not going there again. I'll get sued. How is the new market reverse alerts EA coming? It's not. I haven't managed to do anything this week. Yeah. It may never happen, Adrian. I'm trying to build something I get the feeling I'm on one of those routes with the new version of the EA that I'm trying to develop, and I'm just going to come to the conclusion in a week or so that this is way more hassle and work than it's needed. I've got the market reversal at EA. It produces huge profits constantly, and it has done for 4 years, 3 years, however long it is. And I'm just trying to reinvent the wheel. And I worked on it yesterday. Or when did the stream go off? On Wednesday. I worked on it on Wednesday for 3 hours on one part of the EA on drawdown control, trying to improve it. And I just looked at it and went, this is ridiculous. It's a waste of time. I can't improve on what I've got. It works. So I am trying to build an EA, though, that's going to allow me to test mean reversion strategies more effectively and faster. So that is what I'm working on. But I'm having real problems with drawdown control. I'm trying to incorporate aggressive drawdown control into this system, and I can't get it working properly because it is a very discretionary thing. And I'm trying to figure out a way to scale in on a set of conditions, but I can't find a set of conditions that repeats itself. So, like with aggressive drawdown control, I like to do aggressive drawdown control. Here is where we did it, isn't it? Pound New Zealand. I like to do aggressive drawdown control when we are at a previous level that makes logical sense to do it. So that's where I did aggressive DD control, because we'd pushed, we were extended, we were a little bit squeezed, and we were at a monthly support. It worked beautifully. It worked beautifully because of that. Another time, I will do aggressive drawdown control because we have reached the last large propulsion gap and we are extended above the 80 level on the RSI, having not done a profit take. That will be the reason I'll do aggressive drawdown control on that. Then the next time I do aggressive drawdown control will be because we're above 90 and we are in 6 positions after having no profit take after a 5 ADR move. And I'll look at it and go, this has got to be it. And I'll do aggressive drawdown control and that will be it. There is no one instance I can put my finger on that says this is where you instigate aggressive drawdown control. If you try to do it on all of them, it will be wrong way more than it's right. So I'm trying to fix the last part of the problem for position trading, which is what you do in a squeeze, what you do when you're uncomfortable. You get yourself out of it. But I don't think there's a way to automate it. And that's why I'm building the new version, so I can backtest multiple scenarios faster. What I'm finding is there is no edge. I can't find anything that helps. And this is kind of what I was saying yesterday before the stream dropped. I was just going into why I'm building the new version of the EA. It's to speed up the testing because the current version is slow in the backtester, because it's so big and bloated, because it's got so much in it. So I've built a version which does what I want it to do, not what everybody else wants it to do, which is stripped down to just what I do. But yeah, if it doesn't, I mean, I'm not going to release anything if there's no reason to use it. I'm not going to if I'm not going to use it myself, I'm not going to release it, basically. Because if I can't find an edge in it or a reason that it's going to enhance my trading or enhance my life, there's just no point. I'm not one of these people that's just going to push out crap all the time. There's a lot of people out there that pump EA after signal out of, they're just there to try and make a load of money out of pumping out crap, which is not what I'm into. I'm into making money out of my own products, which is what I do. And I get paid out of my products for doing this. That's what I see it as. The indicators that I make the money out of are of me sitting here 4 hours a day doing this. I'm doing this because it helps me to make money as well. So, but I'm working on it. I'm working on I'm always working on stuff. You never stop developing systems, strategies, testing. It's what it's all about. This is what institutions and banks spend 90% of their time doing. 10% of their time is spent trading. 90% of their time is looking for edges, because your edges are going to change. As the market changes, you've got to be constantly developing stuff to find new ways of getting money out of the market, because when the market changes and goes flat, we need to adapt. As you saw, I adapted by changing the RSI to 14 from 21. I've now adapted back because we're starting to see some more expansion coming in. You can't teach that in an EA, and you can only identify that through experience. So it's very hard to develop products that work all the time. I don't think you can. This is why most EAs will fail, because they work for a period of time and then they fall over. They fall over because they can't work in all market conditions. You as the trader have to identify the market condition, which is very difficult to do. And this is why I get it wrong most of the time. But I just developed a strategy that gets me out of it when I'm wrong. That's the difference. And I'm trying to automate that bit, which is, what do I do when I'm wrong? There's nothing you can do, is there? You've got to sit through it and figure it out as you go, which is the hard part. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. And that's why it's not getting very far, because I don't have much time, because I spend most of it in here. Yes, open a prop firm and you're set. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's on my list to do as well. Open a prop firm. I can do that, but I've got to use 8cap. And I wouldn't do it because I wouldn't use it. If I wouldn't use it, I'm not going to do it. If I was going to open a prop firm business, I wouldn't trade anymore. You wouldn't need to, would you? If you're going to make 20 million out of evaluations a month like my Forex funds do, why would you trade? No point. All they are is a marketing company. All prop firms are marketing companies. Their job is to market the fact that they can give you a load of money if you're a good trader. They know that 99% of people aren't good traders. Therefore, they know that 99% of evaluations are going to fail. Therefore, if we can charge people for demo accounts, we can make a load of money. Whereas what you could do is go and get demo accounts from your broker for free and prove to yourself that you can't do it. But people don't want to do that. That's the truth of prop, isn't it, really? Pound New Zealand looks like reversing from 175 ADR shroud. Have a quick look at that. Oh, I'm on it. Yeah, 175 is where I would look today. So there's two reasons for 175. You've got your propulsion gap from that accumulation break, and you've got that resistance there from last week. New Zealand dollar, US dollar has hit ADR as well. So we had the CAD hit a minute ago. So yeah, that level there, which is last Friday's high, is also a good resistance. If we can get 175 today, that would be a beauty. You'll also be extended above the 80 level, like that. Good. I have a few ideas. Everybody's got ideas. None care. I'm not saying everybody's got ideas, none care. I'm saying none care. That is the name of the person I'm talking to in chat. For those of you who can't see the chat, everybody's got a few ideas. Somebody sent me, it's the guy that was talking about doing the reverse ORB strategy, yeah? He sent me an email saying, he sent me his test results, which I got confused about, because what he was saying was he'd done a test, and that was the results of the test with the ORB EA, and he'd done manual testing, and that was why he was saying we should be mean reverting it, not taking a breakout. And I got completely confused, because I get 10 emails and chats in Telegram literally a day with people recommending strategies, which is why I built this page on the website, got a strategy, get an EA coded. So I built this page basically to try and push people into this page so that they don't just go, I've got an idea for a strategy, boom, and they blurt it all out in a Telegram post or in an email. And for me to read and understand and think about it takes me 20, 30 minutes. If I get 5 of those a day, I've lost 2.5 hours of my own development time. So I built this page so that people know that if they don't put this, and this in here, I'm not going to fucking read it. Sorry for the French, but I'm not going to read it, because that's all I get all day long is people saying I've got a strategy. I've seen them all. I've been doing this for 15 years. There's not many strategies I haven't seen. And there's not many indicators I haven't tested. I've tested everything. I've back tested billions and billions of hours of everything. And this is why I've come up with what I've come up with, because the vast majority of it doesn't work. Why do you think all these indicators come free with MT4 and MT5? They're useless most of the time. But they're not useless because the indicators don't do their job. They do exactly what they should be doing. The RSI tells you the relative strength of the two instruments. What you do with the information is the problem. And what everybody thinks they found is an edge based on a couple of months worth of viewing something, doing something. So by getting all of this information in here as to the exact strategy, it helps me just to filter out the people that have got an idea about something. If you've got a strategy that you have tested with strict conditions that you have found that works, send it to me. I'm more than happy to look at it, build an EA to test that strategy. But vast majority of the stuff I get is, I've been trading less than a year, I've got an idea. Oh, yeah, you will have lots of ideas because you haven't experienced most of what you're going to experience over the next 4 to 5 years while you're blowing accounts, learning how this thing moves. You know, it's just, so that's why I built that form. But I'm just trying to encourage people to use it because I get too much stuff coming through my inbox and I don't get to do anything of my own. Have you got access to a quantum computer? No. I could probably build one. I haven't got access to one. There is a way. There's a piece of software called Strategy Quant, which I've used a lot. I've used extensively in the past, mainly to backtest and disprove strategies. And with Strategy Quant, it will basically go off and it will find strategies. So it crunches all the different, it does system parameter permutation tests on tens of thousands of indicators an hour. And it goes off and finds all this information. But it will only come back with somewhere in the region of 5 to 10 good quality strategies an hour. If you had a quantum computer or a large array of GPUs that you could put Strategy Quant through, which you can do, but it's very expensive, like $2.5–3 grand a month to rent that equipment. You could generate somewhere in the region of 500 to 1,000 profitable strategies an hour with Strategy Quant. And it will backtest them, out of sample test them, system parameter permutation test them, forward test them. It will do all sorts of testing on it. And I've done loads of that. And I've come up with hundreds of profitable strategies, which have been backtested over 10 to 15 years. And they've been out of sample tested and have all worked extremely well on paper. As soon as you forward test them, they fall over in real market conditions. Because no matter how much you backtest over a period of time, and then you take those results that are profitable and you out of sample test them and you get something similar, when you put it on this year, it's never the same. Look at a daily chart. You will never find 2 years that are anywhere near identical. Doesn't happen. Every single time you go into a new day, it's never been repeated in the past. So whatever backtesting you ever do with anything is never forward repeatable. The only thing, and this is, I'm talking about indicators here and strategies. The only thing that is repeatable and can be the same when you forward test is money management strategy, i.e. getting in with a risk based on a movement and then scaling out of percentages of that movement as the market moves up and down, position trading. So the position trading methodology and way of getting in and out the market and averaging into positions on market movement is always the same. It goes up and down, but it's never exactly the same. Position trading doesn't require it to be exactly the same, which is why it works. It's the only strategy I've ever found that works forward test in real life, because it's nothing to do with the RSI, the reversal alert indicator, ADR, or anything else. It's to do with the way that we scale in and out on market cycles. That's the only thing that has been there since the 1900s and will be here in 2200. As long as there is a market, there are buyers and sellers. As long as there is unequal agreement between buyers and sellers, there will be movement up and down. That's the thing that can never change moving forward and will always be in your back tests. But how you scale in and out of it is the way that you make money. So I came to the conclusion a long time ago, you can use any indicator under the sun for your strategy. The way you make it profitable is the way that you enter and exit, not the indicator you use, the RSI you use, the level you use. That is a variable. The constant is the fact it moves up and down. So Strategy Quant, cut a long story short, allowed me to backtest billions of combinations of movement over 15 to 20 years with all indicators under the sun. But none of them worked when I put them on a live account anywhere near the way they did there, because these conditions, no matter how many tests I do, will never be replicated. This is a random market with random movement. Every single tick is different to the previous day's ticks, the previous weeks, the previous months, etc., etc. But the thing that you can do is scale in with a percentage of your risk at a distance, and you can scale out when things go against you at a percentage distance of the movement the market makes up and down. So if you can measure the movement of the market using ADR and RSI, you don't need anything else. All you need is a good scaling plan. So quantum computers, going back to what Virginia just said, which is why I went on that little waffle, have no advantage. The thing you need to test is the way you get in and out the market. And this is part of what I'm getting to with these strategies that people keep sending me. They all work. I can make every single strategy you send me profitable, not by adjusting the parameters of the system or the indicator settings or anything to do with that. I can make it profitable by removing the stop loss and changing the way that the indicator scales you in and out of the market. And this is why I'm finding I'm getting lots of these strategies sent to me, and I'm turning around and going, it won't work, won't work, won't work, won't work, won't work, won't work, because they're all using fixed stop losses. They don't work. Variable stops work, i.e. get me out of a bit of it when it's gone the wrong way by a certain distance. So, you know, when you send me a strategy, none care. I need to know all the working parts of it, but you'll probably get an email back saying it's not going to work because it's got stop loss. But if I can look at a strategy that has got very good potential with a stop loss and then remove that stop loss and enhance it, that's what I'm kind of looking for. People to help get more of that type of strategy out there. The more EAs we can build that move on strategy, the more money you can make. Which is, you know, this is what this is doing on the VPS here. Yeah, there's 4 accounts running, all of them running very similar strategies, but they're not running the same strategy. They're running similar strategies along the same lines with the same indicators, but using slightly different entry and exit parameters for risk. This is why they all work, because they're using the same risk profile. They're not using the same indicator levels. Yeah, so it's... Anyway, there you go. I know, sorry, Stevie, sorry for the F-bomb. That's what I'm normally like off stream. I've got a mouth like a pot of poo. I have to rein it in on stream, obviously. I don't actually have to, because all my videos are tagged as not for children, so I could sit here and swear all day if I wanted to. I just don't. I would like to tell you and give to you, do you know about candlesticks? I'm assuming that's a joke. What is for funding account? Working top. I don't understand what that means. What is for funding account? I don't know what that means. Mamba FX apparently made 100k in 30 minutes. I can make 100k in 30 minutes. Give me a 1 million account and I'll put 10% risk on and I'll hit the long button. There's a 50-50 chance I'll make 100 grand in 30 minutes. But Mamba FX, I mean, that's ridiculous. He couldn't even buy a Lamborghini with that. 100 grand is not enough for him to buy his next Lambo, is it? That he's rented and taken a photograph in front of. And should we have a look at him again? He's funny. Mamba FX. Here he comes. Oh, what's that? Why has that gone over there? Well, that was weird. There he is. Now that if I was going to, if ever there's a stereotypical trader in the world, doesn't that look exactly like what you would expect a trader to look like? Look, he's got the same bling as me, but here's his silver. I've got more advanced gold than Mamba FX. Look. His is silver. Mine is gold with encrusted diamonds. Probably can't see. Yeah, anyway, enough said. Follow who you like. This is why I've got 78 people in here. But 78 hopefully profitable people, not however many million followers he has not making money. In the last 10 minutes, I wish I hear this 5 years ago. Yeah, well, it took me a long time, Lucas. This is why I put the bootcamp together. The whole reason I put the position trading bootcamp together was to try and cut people's journey time down, because there's very few people I know in this industry that have got profitable in less than 5 years. Very, 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 very few. When I see people like Mission FX saying he's been trading for 3 years, 2 years profitable, immediately alarm bells ring, because I've been doing this for 15 years and I've never met anybody like that. There's a reason. I don't know what it is, but maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know. But you can't shortcut this at all because it's all to do with psychology. You can shortcut it by automating parts of your trading, but it's a long journey. Brian needs a towel because he spat his coffee, not for any other reason, before you start putting stuff in the chat. No, really, candlesticks. Back in the past, I took a course about it, and it talks about candlesticks. I honestly, they're stuff I learned, stuff that from you, more that account. Myself knew. Sorry, are you drunk, or are you not speaking English and using a translator? I don't understand a word of what you just said. Steve, where that Lambo at? Yeah, I haven't got that Lambo. I saw lots of Lambos at the weekend. I went to Goodwood for the Breakfast Club, which is brilliant. There's about a quadrillion Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Astons, everything. Really cool. Saw lots of them. We love the info you share. It's priceless, yeah. I C-bomb 50 times a day. I don't use the C-bomb any more than 5 times a day. You're well ahead of me. Entered the chat, Yoda has. Oh, mine, I am sorry. It's 4 a.m. my time, and time my brain start to kill me. No one care? I still don't understand what you're saying, so I'm going to leave it there. We could have a conversation about nothing all day long, but I've got stuff I need to get on with. ORB 5 minute has just broken back out to the upside again. So it looks like it might want to do a run today. We're in the middle of nowhere on this thing. So this really, that's the US 30. This really could go anyway today. So yesterday's high, previous day's high, last week's high, upside. Last week's high today is ADR as well. So that's last week's high. That's ADR. Yesterday's high and previous day's high. So this whole zone here, the upside, that would be a good short if you want to use a stop up there. Other than that, no idea. Still want this down here, but I'm short on it on the Fiddle Crest account, but I get the feeling I'm not going to see that trade play out because I'll be passed by the time, or failed by the time it gets anywhere near it. He took a course in candlesticks and is just saying that when he had learned from you is more applicable. KB, you're my translator. I need you in here every day for when no one cares comes in so that you can translate for me. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar looking spicy. Yeah, it's coming back up into that previous propulsion. So this is a really good level. 125 ADR, and you got a fallback at 150 ADR, which is that previous high from this week, Monday's high. So this is high of the week. So we're literally just doing a V-shaped recovery today by the looks of things. Undoing today everything. You know, this is the falling down the stairs, riding back up the elevator shaft job. We see over and over again. I thinking that you know about your EA can add on that. Also can help the EA you are working on. Candlestick patterns, yeah, you can trade candlestick patterns if you want to, but they're just an entry mechanism. They're a signal. Yeah, my signal is the market reverse alerts EA. I'm not looking to change that. Breaks in structure, in market structure, indicate when the buyers are on board. Yeah, a candlestick that looks like that means that in a period of time that this candlestick is painting, which could be anything from 1 minute to 1 month, yeah, that candlestick is just a representation of time. Just because in that period of time the sellers tried to sell and pushed up and the buyers took back control does not mean that the sellers are not going to take control back on the next candle. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah, that's a massive hammer, which means that we opened here, we pushed down, sellers took control, the buyers took control back. What happened next? Crash. What the hell has that candle got to do with anything to do with the next movement of price? Nothing. Doesn't mean a thing. Look at this one. Look at this shooting star there. Yeah, price pushed up all the way back down. Sellers took control for the next 2 candles. Then it moved up. Useless. Candlestick patterns are great, but the odds of a candlestick pattern working, and I say this over and over again, are 50%. The odds of a market reverse alert working are 50%. The odds of it pushing up to a piece of resistance and it bouncing is 50%. Every time you press the button, it's either going to go up or down. How you get into the market, totally irrelevant. How you manage the position after you're in the market is where you make your money. Yeah. This goes up to here. Chances of it coming down, 50%. More often than not, it will. But still 50%, isn't it? When you press the button, it's either going to go up or it's going to go down. You need to manage that. That's where we make our money, by scaling in and out when we're wrong. If we're right, brilliant. But your entry signal, if your entry signal is a candlestick pattern, the reliability of a candlestick pattern as opposed to a multiple time push in one direction, i.e. a break of structure where we have proof that the buyers are in control, not one candlestick for one period of time over 1 hour, but 4 hours on the trot, the buyers are in control. Now I'm interested in going long because the buyers are in control. If you try and pick that down here, you will get chopped to pieces 1,000 times on the way down. Candlesticks are great if you're scalping. They're all you've got. You haven't got a choice. If you're scalping, you have to use candlestick patterns, which is why very, 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 very few people will ever make it in scalping. Tom Hugard, 1. Don't know any others. Don't know any others that are consistently profitable scalpers. I know 1. Shows you how hard it is because he's trading candlestick patterns. And you've got to be incredibly disciplined to do it. Very, 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 very difficult. I have a confession. When CAD Swiss tanked last year, I was in it because I was a positive swaps. I decided to stay in thinking it would come back. It didn't. Anyway, I waited on an aggressive drawdown control opportunity. Smashed it this week for plus 16 gain. Well done. But would never do it again. In and out for me, likely. Yeah, exactly. I was in it from the first trade of May last year. That's a long. That's kind of an investment trade, isn't it? Really. But that just shows you can get in and out of stuff over. The time doesn't matter, does it? How long you're in a position for doesn't matter. I was in there. I was in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days. Doesn't matter how long you're in it. What matters, it doesn't matter whether that goes up or down when you get in. What matters is what you do after that entry. This is what I keep going on about. This is what the whole position trading bootcamp is about. I don't care if I'm wrong. I'm temporarily wrong for a bit. because this thing cannot do that forever. It has to do that, because if it doesn't do that, the banks can't make money. So I get in there, and if I'm totally wrong, lots of wrong trades here, isn't there? All wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. Profitable. Right, right, wrong, right. Yeah. I'm wrong 99% of the time. But I don't make money because of an indicator. I make money because of the way that I trade, not because of a candlestick pattern or anything, which is, what I've been talking about this morning. Doesn't matter. I've developed millions of profitable strategies that don't work when you actually put them on a live chart. This is where everybody goes wrong, yeah. Anyway, I'm going now because I have got to do some work this morning. I've really got stuff I want to test, especially this reverse ORB. I'm interested to see what the results are. So I'm going to try and crack on with that this morning. If you need anything, I'll be in the Telegram group. I'll be back at 2:20 this afternoon for the New York session. We'll watch what happens with the NASDAQ and the Dow this afternoon. I'm not personally going to trade ORBs this afternoon anyway. Steve, ooh, new t-shirt idea, in and out like Lee. Yeah, what's the graphic going to be on that? So yeah, I'll be testing that. I just want to see what happens with it. So I'll be in the Telegram group if you need me. Back 2:20 this afternoon. I'm not going to trade this afternoon on the Dow ORBs just because I'm coming to the conclusion I don't want to do it when we've got any kind of news event coming out after market. Before market, I'm not too worried about, but after market, not too sure. So I'm going to leave that one. But if you want to trade it, probably the 5 minute is the best one to do. The pre-market 5, which is the one that Outro seems to be making a million quid out of. But yeah, anything you need, let me know. I'll be in the Telegram group. Otherwise, see you this afternoon at 2:20. If not, 7:50 on Monday morning. We haven't got a bank holiday for a change. So I will be here on a Monday. Yeah, I'll see you then. Have a good day.